USC football may not be in a championship game, but a couple other USC teams are looking to make title runs.
That's right. Women's soccer and men's water polo are both in the Final Four this weekend, but us here on Sports Scene, we're in our championship game. Sports Scene season finale starts right now. Welcome back into the exuberant Annenberg Media Center. I'm Connor McGlynn.
And I'm Jackson Safon. USC women's soccer star Morgan Andrews is going to join me in studio in a bit before shipping up to San Jose for her Final Four matchup against Georgetown. But we'll get to that. In the meantime, the #1 ranked USC men's water polo team is also heading up to the Bay this weekend for their Final Four matchup in Berkeley.
USC's heading into the tourney fresh off an MPSF title run, which featured wins over Stanford and #2 UCLA. USC players are pretty amped, holding on to that top-ranked spot in the nation heading into the tournament.
I think it was a big win for us, especially beating UCLA in the final. Always a good feeling, but I think we're definitely pretty fired up. It's been a while since we've been ranked first going into the NC2As, so it's actually been my freshman year, so 2 years. So I think we're all pretty fired up for that.
USC goalie McGlynn Barron was named MVP of the tournament after capturing 33 saves in just 3 games, Connor. And juniors Nick Bell and Blake Edwards combined to tally 6 of the 28 USC offensive goals and were named to the All-MPSF tournament team.
USC didn't stop at just those 3 awards, though. Highly decorated head coach Jovan Vavic added yet another piece of hardware to his already full mantelpiece when he brought home the MPSF Coach of the Year award honor. Freshman Matt Meyer also brought home his first annual award as the newcomer of the year in the MPSF.
But wait, there's more. USC goalie McGlynn Barron and attackers Matteo Morelli and Grant Stein were named to the All-MPSF first team, and USC also had 5 more players in the second and third team combined, which means that USC had 8 starters that were on one of the first 3 all-conference teams.
And all those 8 guys and the rest of the team are going to head up north with their sights set on the winner of the Harvard versus UC Davis game in order to take them on to get into the national title match.
And that national title match, that's where USC saw its season come to an end. The last 2 seasons, both times they lost to UCLA, so they are looking to avenge that loss. And the team knows that if they're going to get over the hump and win the national championship, it's going to be because of their defense.
I think it's all going to come down to whatever team has better defense, I would say. I mean, these championships are won, especially in the past. They're won like games like 6-5, 5-3. So definitely the team that's going to have the best defense, the team that's able to take away both the center and outside attackers is going to win the game.
Well, defense will definitely play a part in making a run for USC, but here to take a look at the bracket as a whole is Alexa Palermo. Alexa, we're looking at this bracket right here. Numbers 2 and 3 possibly down here. They're looming. But right now, first round matchup, semifinals, USC playing Harvard, UC Davis. What are the odds that there's an upset in the semis?
Well, in sports, anything is possible, so you never know, but I highly doubt it. Harvard already proved themselves when they beat Bucknell, so it's up to UC Davis to see if they can pull a win over that one, but USC is coming off of a double bye week, so I feel like they can wrap this one up with a win.
Well, you're not the only one with confidence heading into that semifinal game. Trojan players seem to be looking toward a potential championship matchup as well.
So right now, the way the tournament pans out, we're going to play the winner of Cal or UCLA. So in preparation for both of those teams, we're kind of preparing for both UCLA and Cal, targeting their key players and deciding how to take them out in certain ways.
With that in mind, here's how USC has matched up against both UCLA and Cal over the span of the season. First off, UCLA's 2 losses on the year have both come to USC.
Yeah, USC has been playing very well against UCLA, but the key in that game is definitely the scoring margin because the 2 teams sit at 1 and 2. So the USC defense has been really great this season. They really need to do a good job of containing their scorer. Patrick Fellner, he has 37 goals on the season, so keeping an eye out for him can get them a win again.
As you can see from all the scoring margins, all 3 of these teams have very potent offenses. But on the other side of things, USC's only loss on the year came against Cal.
But since then, they have beaten them, so they have figured out a way to do that. Their goalie, Lazar Andrick, has 189 saves on the season, and he has been really pushing the team to score better, to get a win against Cal. Again, they need to watch out for him and figure out a way to make sure they score on him.
Well, if you want to talk about goalies, I don't think you can look past UCLA's goalie, Garrett Danner, who back-to-back MPSF Player of the Year awards. He's a stone wall in the cage for UCLA. How can USC have some success against Danner?
Well, there's no doubt that they can, as they have beaten them twice this season. In the last game that they played, it was a fight till the end. It was an 8-7 final score, but that came with spreading around the goals on offense. 6 different players got at least 1 goal, which came up to give them that win. So doing that and making sure they focus on their pride and joy, the defense will give them another win.
Well, if anyone's going to be able to score on Danner in that semifinal matchup, it's Cal's freshman Johnny Hooper. Look at this right here. Goals 68. Here's Johnny. Where isn't Johnny? That's crazy.
Johnny is crazy. He is a top scorer in the country and an absolutely dominant player, but USC's defense is just as dominant. They need to make sure that they block him well and limit him to no explosive plays, because once he gets the ball in his hands, it'll most likely end up in the back of the net. Players like Matteo Morelli and the Edwards brothers really need to show up and score, and they need to make sure their defense blocks him well.
Well, one thing's for sure, Alexa, USC water polo has its work cut out for them in order to earn their 10th national title, but they're not the only ones with a chance to bring home the hardware this weekend.
The USC women's soccer team is also in the Final Four. The College Cup starts this Friday, and the women of Troy are taking on fellow 2-seed Georgetown. But before we get to the weekend, I'm now joined by Morgan Andrews. Morgan, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So the biggest change from last year's team to this year's team is that you guys got Alex Anthony as a transfer and Katie Johnson back from injury.
Right.
They've been 2 really big goal scorers for you guys this year. So how has their presence sort of allowed you to take the leap to the next level?
I mean, they're both 2 very attacking-minded players and both very great players and teammates to work off of. And so it's just exciting to have them on the team and to have them on the field. And every game they go out there and make an impact, and they're part of the reason why we are where we are and heading to the Final Four.
And back to you. You were just named one of the semifinalists, one of 15 semifinalists for the Mac Herman Award, which is one of the top for the top women's college soccer player. So how does that feel to be nominated one of such a select group of finalists?
Yeah, I mean, it's a total honor. I'm so excited to be honored with that prestigious award and to be even on that list next to those other 14 girls. But at the same time, it is a reflection of the hard work that this team has put in. And any sort of individual accolade is just a reflection of the 28 other girls who are on the field with me, and the coaching staff and the staff behind the scenes.
You seem to have a knack for coming up big in big games. You had 2 goals in the big win against Stanford earlier this year, game winner against North Carolina. You had a couple goals against Eastern in the first round, and of course can't forget the hat trick last year in the playoffs. So what is it, and where does that clutch ability come from, and how are you able to come up so big for your team so many times?
I mean, like I said, like my teammates put me in those positions. It just comes down to being able to finish the ball in important times. But for me, I really do love the pressure, and I know there's a lot of girls next to me who enjoy the pressure as well. So it's just about going out there and playing the game that we love, and hopefully getting some results. But it's just exciting. I love to play, so hopefully I can keep doing that for my team.
And one of the strengths of the team this year has been defense, with Mandy and Kayla back there along with Sammy and Joe in goal. How has the defense been able to be so successful and just so leading the team to where you guys are now?
They really are incredible. I've never played with a better back line or a better goalkeeper, and personally I truly believe that Sammy Jo Prudhomme is the best goalkeeper in the nation. But it's definitely a security having them back there. And as an attacking-minded player and playing in an attacking mid-position next to the forwards and the midfielders, it's just really comfortable having them back there and knowing that we can take risks up the field and try to get some goals in the back of the net, knowing that they'll keep the goals out of ours.
Sort of a security blanket of sorts.
Exactly, yeah.
But down to the Final Four this weekend, some high-level competition, Georgetown, North Carolina. You played North Carolina already this year, but coming this far, is it championship or bust for you guys?
Absolutely. I mean, just like anything else in the playoffs, it's win or go home. And our goal since the very beginning has been to win a national championship, and we have a great chance of doing that. It just comes down to who wants it more, and I think it'll be us.
So Kidani McAlpine is widely considered one of the best coaches in the Pac-12.
Absolutely.
What has he been able to bring to your team as sort of a calming influence and a guy who's been there before?
Yeah, I mean, if you've looked past over the last 3 years, he's taken this team from being, I believe, second to last in the Pac-12, and now we're going into the Final Four of a national championship. And so that's pretty special. And he's a great coach, and alongside Jen and Jason, they all just work perfectly together. And Kidani is just really calming for us, and he's shown us the way. So it's pretty special, and hopefully we can get the job done for him.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Morgan,
Thank
and
you.
good luck on Friday. You can catch Morgan and the rest of the women of Troy when they head to San Jose tomorrow before taking on Georgetown on Friday at 7:30.
You didn't think we'd forget about USC football, did you? We got Keely Yor, Pally Ugeti here to help recap what we've seen now that the USC regular season is over. Guys, let's start it off with the essentials. Trojans finished 9-3 on an 8-game winning streak. Would you consider this season a success?
I think at USC, you mentioned the winning streak, you mentioned the good into the season, but at USC, the season's defined as success if USC gets to the Pac-12 championship. At least gets there. Maybe, possibly for some people, it's winning the Pac-12 championship, but they're not even there this season. And despite the successful ending to the season, September still happened. They did go 1-3, and that's preventing them from being in the Pac-12 championship today. And so I think when you look at the season as a whole, you can't quite classify it as successful.
I think you have to look at this season in a vacuum based off of a new head coach. They had a really tough schedule coming into the season. A new quarterback, eventually a quarterback change. They were 1-3. At one point, people were like, are they even going to be bowl eligible? No one expected in September for them to end like they did in November. And people were talking about the college football playoff. No one expected that. So I definitely think this is a successful season.
Okay, well, you both brought up the 1-3 slow start. Keely, you mentioned Sam Darnold, the quarterback who came in, started to make some progression. But we saw Clay Helton also be moved from the hot seat early on to more of a comfortable, and people even really promoting him throughout the season. So did you see this progression of the season as Clay Helton becoming a legitimate head coach, or more of the talent around him helping him out through the season?
I mean, he was always a head coach. Whether he was meant for USC, I think is the question. But I think, I've said it before, I think Sam Darnold was a huge Band-Aid to a lot of problems, but you can't deny the fact that the team did grow. The O-line definitely got better. The D-line definitely got better. That usually is coaching, so I think you have to tip your hat to that. So yes, I will say Helton's definitely proved himself more as the season went on.
But possibly the position coaches around him helping him out.
That too.
Is what you're saying.
That too.
Okay.
Well, as every Pac-12 coach around the conference says, USC is the most talented team in the conference. So I think that at some point the talent had to kind of show out. And do I agree that Helton did put his team in some positions to showcase that talent and really thrive under the right circumstances, and that's what netted the winning streak. I think that it's more about the talent, it's more about the players performing than about proving whether Helton is the coach for the job. Obviously, next season when they're super talented, you're going to see if Helton is the guy who can take them to the national championship.
So we're sort of split on that. It could be both answers. But speaking of talent, you can't really go far from USC without mentioning Adoree Jackson and Juju Smith-Schuster, some of the most talented guys on the team. Now, Juju said after the game that if Adoree returns for his senior season, Juju will also come back. Where do you think that USC's future holds depending on their decision to go pro?
Well, I think you're kind of parsing through it, but if Adoree and Juju do come back, which I think is a slim possibility, this team automatically lost himself into in the conversation for being one of the top 4 teams in the nation next year, going into the season. Or at least
preseason poll.
Being in the conversation to have those 4 spots, you know what I'm saying? Because they returned Sam Darnold, it's the second year in their Clay Helton, and they have a lot of talent around them, even more wide receivers besides Juju. So I think they're loaded for next season if they do come back. But if they don't come back, I think they'll still be one of the top teams in the nation, or at least be considered in that conversation.
Yeah, there's no doubt if Juju and Adoree come back, this team is going to be lit, to use Juju's word.
Liddy. It's getting Liddy in here.
But the odds of that happening, I'm not sure. But the thing is that Sam Darnold is really good about spreading the ball around. If we saw anything this year, Juju didn't really get the ball that much, but they still had a successful offense. And Darnold is a quarterback that can make that talent on USC's offense actually work. Tight ends, we've seen him, which is good. So I don't think, as far as Juju goes, there'll be a loss, but Adoree will definitely see a loss there.
See, I'd be willing to make the argument that Juju did help out the other receivers just in his pure sense of being there, maybe acting as a decoy and kind of providing that spark to the other receivers. Right. But both of you guys, fantastic work as always. Always know how to rile up the crowd. But the Adoree Jackson talk doesn't just end here. People took to the web after his big performance against Notre Dame. Let's send it over to Ben to see how social media reacted.
While most of the country spent the weekend giving thanks for family, friends, and other things dear to their hearts, members of the Trojan family were busy thanking the football gods for blessing them with Adoree Jackson. USC's all-purpose man feasted on rival Notre Dame Saturday by scoring a breathtaking trio of touchdowns on a punt return, reception, and kickoff return. And predictably, after the game, there was what you might call a healthy serving on social media with love for number 2. Here are some of the most notable shout-outs. If posting to Instagram were paralleled with eating a Thanksgiving turkey, you could say that CL Max Nikias is often one of the first people to serve up a plate. That's right, USC's president wasted little time in sharing this post-game photo from the Coliseum Tunnel following Saturday's win. With the player of the game, Adoree Jackson, what an incredible athlete. He scored 3 touchdowns today. He now has 8 career returns for TDs, a USC record, and 5 career punt returns, also a USC record. Gotta love this helping of fight-on deuce chucking from USC's Prez and football protege. Moving over to Twitter, plenty of current and former players doled out a platter of praise as well. Former safety Gerald Bowman tweeted, "Heisman? Thorpe? League? Pay that man. He is not human. SMH shaking my head. It is surreal. Hashtag Adoree for Heisman, hashtag Adoree for Thorpe, hashtag fight on." Recent Trojan grad and current Buffalo Bills cornerback Kevon Seymour also gave a shout out to his former teammate, tweeting this photo after Adoree hurdled Notre Dame's kicker en route to a 97-yard kickoff return. The picture featured side-by-side looks at Adoree's hurdle with an iconic photo of legendary Trojan running back Reggie Bush hurdling a UCLA defender during his time at USC a little over a decade ago. The comparison quickly picked up steam on social media and Twitter, and Adoree himself even tweeted the photo with the caption, "Turn the 2 upside down, it's a 5 now," and tagging Reggie Bush. Now, although technically a 2 upside down is still a 2, Adoree's point is well noted. And I think we can all agree that he's earned himself a pass from the number police after his play this weekend. Well, I am stuffed from the helping of Trojan family love and support on social media this week, and my waistline is starting to show it. So while I go and try to address that, allow me to slide it back over to Jackson like a bowl of hot Thanksgiving gravy. My guy.
USC basketball is 6-0 for the first time since 2000, which only goes to prove this is a basketball school, am I right? Well, maybe not, but Aaron Glazer is here to help me break down how the Trojans' offense has been so successful, leading them to that 6-0 start. Aaron, thanks for joining me.
Absolutely, Jackson. Good to be here.
All right, let's do it. Let's roll that first play. Tell me what we got.
All right, so we've got Jonah Matthews looking down, Elijah Stewart down low. He's got options all over the right side. Pauses, looking, driving the defender. Nowhere to go. Kicks it out to Charles Buggs, who drains the wide open 3 for USC. And Jackson, when you look at this play, you see, obviously a lot of stuff going on. Elijah Stewart right here down in the post. He's got the whole defense over here clogging up the paint. USC's guys aren't even coming over here to help him. So he's honestly a bit stuck. But Charles Buggs is over here waiting, and Elijah Stewart, in what I think is a very, very smart play, sees this whole back opening. Elijah obviously is an advanced player. He's played for multiple years. So he hits him right around that backside again to a wide open Buggs. Connects for the 3 points on the board for SC.
Yeah, you see USC's players spacing out the floor, giving Elijah that space in the post, and he makes a smart play, kicking it to the opposite corner. Let's see it one more time. There's Elijah in the post, like you said, pivoting, monitoring the defense, drives and kicks out, as you said, to the wide open Charles Buggs for the easy 3-point from the corner. Let's roll that second play.
All right, so here we see Jordan McGlynn looking at Chimezi Matu, and he's just going to drive it right in and get fouled in the middle before finishing up a little slam, get the crowd a little fired up on that one.
So what happened on this play with Chimezi?
Jackson, this is the bread and butter of what USC tries to do with Chimezi Matu. You look at him right here, he's about to catch the ball, and he's got this whole paint to work with. Defense is kind of all over. This guy's trying to block him out here. I don't know why, because he's losing space over here. McGlynn running his usual point spot. Now, sure, he can hit Elijah in the corner. He's got a couple options down low. But when you're Chimezi Matu and you're a big man, this is what he's here for. The whole paint open forces both of these guys to come in to guard him. There's a foul, and now Chimezi can go to the line and just rack up some shots from there.
Yeah, that high pick and roll that USC loves to run with Jordan McGlynn probing from the top. Let's see it one more time. Runs it. Chimezi Matu finds it in the open lane in the middle. I mean, that's just the bread and butter of USC's offense. Like you said, high pick and roll, allowing the big men to operate in space. But what about this third play we have?
So on this third play we have some interesting situations. We're going to start from here. Nick Rakasevich, right here, he's got the ball. He just got from DeAnthony Melton behind him. Now he's got an interesting situation here. He's got 3 defenders between him and the basket, but no offense. The offensive guys, his teammates, are way out here. But let's focus on Rakasevich himself. He is looking straight into this defender. He doesn't even see the offense. So while he's got a couple options, he could look around and see the back, he's got his eyes on this guy. He must think that he has some sort of move that he can make on him or find a way to get from here to here past this guy. Let's see what he did.
Well, there's Rakosevic.
So they're going to give it to Anthony Melton.
On the high post here in just a second. And what Rakosevic's ability to knock down that mid-range shot sort of allows him to do this. A lot of USC's big men can do that. If they're given space at the top of the key, they can hit that mid-range jumper. Shemezi, obviously, Bennett can do it from 3 as well, so that really opens up the whole offense. Like you said, even when USC's offense is really spread out and it seems like it's just a one-on-one for the big man, the ability to hit that mid-range jump shot, how important is that for USC's offense?
Very important, because of exactly this type of play right here. In a situation where their offensive players aren't coming to help Rakosevic, he can still put those points on the board without them, still use that mid-range shot to hit a key range in this one. And you look at these guys on the defense, they're just kind of unprepared. There's nothing really they can do about that. That's just pure strength on the behalf of the USC offense.
I mean, USC's offense comes through a lot of their big men, like we said, with Rakosevic, Benny, and Shemezi. And their offense is just as dynamic as it was last year, despite missing some key players. And a lot of credit for that can be given to Coach Andy Enfield for creating such a successful system with some of these players that people might not know as much, like Rakosevic, like Charles Bugg. So, Aaron, thank you for joining me. And the Trojans have a big matchup against the BYU Cougars on Saturday at the Staples Center.
The women's volleyball team has been selected for their 26th consecutive NCAA tournament appearance. The team is set to face off against number 12 Hawaii on Friday in USC's first ever match in the state of Minnesota. The Rainbow Wahine ended their season 22-5, earning their second straight Big West Conference title and an automatic bid to the tournament. With this tough opponent ahead, the women of Troy know what they need to do to improve on the court.
We're going to try to work on our defense, and I think that a really big thing for us is getting first ball kills. So as soon as we get that first pass, trying to get a kill right away is kind of what we want to work on.
A win is not impossible, as the women of Troy have 2 explosive players in their lineup. Senior middle blocker Elise Ruddins and freshman outside hitter Khalil Lanier were both named to the 2016 Pac-12 All-Conference team on Monday. Ruddins and Lanier's selections put USC's all-time All-Pac-12 certificate count at 71. Ruddins' hitting percentage tops the conference, and Lanier is the only freshman ranking in the league's top 5 for both kills and points.
I'm really excited. Honestly, I'm really honored, and I think that a lot of girls on our team deserve that same award. So, I mean, I'm very lucky.
Overall, the women of Troy have faced a bumpy road this season. 18-13 overall, they closed out the regular season with 2 hard-fought losses on the road to Washington State and crosstown rival UCLA.
The sky's the limit with this team. We keep getting better. We have gotten better. I know it didn't show in the last 3 matches, but 2 of those matches were 5-game matches, and I wouldn't put it past our team to go up there and win.
The women of Troy are 29-4 in NCAA first-round matches. So the team is hoping to bounce back from their rather disappointing season and snap their 3-match losing streak with a win over the Wahine this Friday.
Connor, now it's time for my favorite part of the entire semester, when we get to count down the top 10 performances from USC Athletics throughout this semester. Let's get to it.
Starting right here at number 10, second quarter, USC leads number 4 UW on the road. Sam Darnold finds Daniel Imorturbebe falling down for the big game, but Imorturbebe wasn't done there. Nice little stop route here late in the game. Touchdown DT. He brings it home for the game-sealing score.
On to number 9, 3.5 weeks ago at the Coliseum against Oregon, Ronald Jones, foot in the ground. Oh my God. I think the Oregon safety's ankles are still on the field at the Coliseum. Those are part of Rojo's 171 rushing yards that day, and USC won 45-20.
Same UW game from earlier. Adoree Jackson, look at this. Jake Browning steps back, he launches it. Jackson right there, picks it off, falling down, being pulled down. Another look right here. Excellently shot footage right now. ISO shot of Adoree Jackson. He skies up there. Jim Thorpe Award potential nominee.
On to number 7. Earlier this season, the women's soccer team set a school record of 7 consecutive games without allowing a goal. You can see that stellar defense led by Sammy Jo Prudhomme. Connor, they went over a month without allowing a goal. I don't even remember what I was doing a month ago.
I definitely wasn't living in my apartment, that's for sure. However, at number 6, Oregon game again, second down back in USC territory. Darnold scrambles away. He keeps his eyes down the field. And who else does he find but Imorturbebe again? Oh, the tip drill. Oh, that's what they practice. And he brings it down for the big game. Darius Rogers with the big hit.
On to number 5, back in early October at the Coliseum against Colorado. Look at Darius Rogers with this Randy Moss-esque catch over the Colorado defender to seal the victory for USC. What a play by Darius.
Right here, UCLA visits the Tangzhou Center in mid-November on a 57-game win streak, but it may as well be January 1974 when Notre Dame broke the UCLA basketball record because USC wins this one and earns the #1 seed in the nation.
That same game against Colorado earlier, this arguably is the play of the year. I don't even know why it's at #3. Adoree Jackson with the sideline toe tap. Oh my gosh, we got to see that one again. We got to see that one again. Adoree Jackson skies with the uber athletic move to get his toe down. What a crazy interception. USC wins 21-17.
Is that now 3 ankles left on the field? I don't know. #2 right here, Sammy Joe Prudhomme, drawing the suspense leading up to the cage. Penalty kicks against Texas A&M. She saves it off the bar. Oh my gosh, is it in? Is it in? It's not. Sammy Joe celebrates. That's the first shot in PKs. Alex Anthony, the USC star, needs to net this one for the win. And she does exactly that. USC moves on to the Sweet 16 with a 4-3 penalty kick win over A&M.
Finally, the #1 performance of the year. I think you knew what it was. Adoree Jackson this past weekend against Notre Dame picks up that punt on the bounce, houses it. You know that's one of Adoree's most dangerous is when that punt's bouncing around, the defense is scrambling. He made that one look easy. Later on in the game, he takes the easy pitch and catch from Sam Darnold all the way to the house. Look at this block by Darius Rogers. He's making his way all over in these highlights, and Adoree with another touchdown, his second of the game, but he wasn't done. He takes his kickoff to the house all the way through the teeth of the defense and comes up with one of the most athletic and dynamic hurdles I've ever seen. You know why number 43 is a kicker, because he didn't even come close on that touchdown. Adoree Jackson all the way to the house, and you know he's about to throw up that Heisman pose. I think he should be invited to New York. Maybe that's just me, but USC won that game 45-27.
I'm going to do my Adoree throwing the Heisman pose
nice.
here,
I think you
Jackson.
deserve it.
But you know, with all the highs of the highs, definitely come the lows of the low.
We present to you the 2016 Fall Sports Team bloopers.
On the same side of the ball, senior inside linebacker Michael Hutchings has come into his own as a leader for the defense.
The USC football team is getting ready to end. That's my bad. I'll take full responsibility. I just mispronounced the word ready like really badly. So.
USC football has a losing streak, yeah.
Where are my friends?
And then vote on the best ones.
Wow, have you...
Let's investigate.
There we go. Wow. I might be a little too high.
That's a little too high now.
Here, you have to sit, you have to sit down in it. You have to put weight on it, or else it's not going to go down. This guy.
Oh God.
This guy's all over the place. All right, that's good. That's good. Don't go any lower. Don't go any lower.
I'm here.
Down? Josh's is higher. I don't know. I'm trying to go lower. I don't know if it goes lower. I can hunch though.
You literally just sit on it and pull the lever. Your weight will make you go lower.
It's always a struggle with my 6'4" frame.
It's low. I'm telling you, it's as low as it goes. I know how to operate a chair, Jackson. Jesus.
I agree. Ben knows how to operate a chair.
Bye. Tomorrow, the sun will come out tomorrow. I don't know how this song goes.
Yes, very much so. Thank you for following.
Those were a disaster.
I counted you a few times on that one.
Way too many times. That's why we're doing the show here. So we don't have to sit in those chairs.
Get the chairs out.
But thank you. Shouts to everyone who helps put on this show, especially executive producer Keely, always in the studio. Of course, director Abby, supervisor extraordinaire Tom Norris, and you, Mom. Hi, Mom.
And from everyone here in the luxurious Annenberg Media Center, one last time, thank you for watching. Be sure to follow us along on Twitter and Facebook at Sports Scene USC and on the web at uscannenbergmedia.com. And with that, we hope that you guys have a beautiful holiday season, and Sports Scene's out.